1,990 new corona cases added in the last 24 hours alone. The big question is, do we need another lockdown? 6 states back for extension. All eyes now on Prime Minister's meeting with the Chief Ministers tomorrow. Corona spike in Gujarat and Maharashtra causes concern. Highest single-day spike witnessed in Maharashtra. Gujarat beats the national average in rate of spread. It's a people-driven war against corona and it's working, asserts Prime Minister Modi. Salutes every Indian's commitment, hails them as COVID warrior. Head of HRD Ministries Reach Out Seminar. Times Now puts your mind at ease. Engage with us on how lockdown is impacting students' life. Hit hard by the global pandemic, aviation industry prepares for post-lockdown era. Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad airports ready, plans and protocols. India locks itself down, but violators still aplenty. Chhattisgarh, Congress Neta attends a wedding party in Indore. Brat takes supercar out for a spin. The future of our nation has been plunged into uncertainty as corona induces confusion among students worldwide. With CBSE board exams pending, JEE and NEET exams postponed, and university exams uncertain, our children are now facing confusion and anxiety. Social distancing may have saved their lives, but it is also disrupting their daily lives. Join us live as we will be joined by experts who will clarify all your queries related to this. Let me open this up with our reporters joining us. Shabir Ahmed, Imran from Bengaluru and Sherin. Imran, let's begin with Bengaluru first. What is the state planning to do with the schools, universities once the lockdown ends on May 3rd?
Well, Pranesh, the state government already given instructions that the online classes can start, the schools can start the online classes. In fact, for the 10th standard students, they already started preparatory classes through online. There are mathematics, different slots have been given for the students to prepare for them. But they have not made it compulsory for online classes, saying that there are some students, parents who cannot have the necessary equipment for an online class like a laptop and Wi-Fi connection, especially students who are under right to education quota. But they have asked to schools to start the online classes so that make up for the loss which has happened, and further directives they said they will give only after the May 4th lockdown, what the Prime Minister conveys them, the Central Ministry conveys to them. But as of right now, online classes have been encouraged, but the Education Minister said, I don't want to make it compulsory because some of the parents might not have the capability to go for online classes. Meanwhile, they also instructed the schools not to charge for these online classes. They made it very categorically clear that schools cannot charge for these online classes. But as far as the primary school students and the higher secondary school students, online classes have been encouraged, and also very clearly said that these are not to be considered as online start of the academic year for 2021. They said that will happen only when the union government gives them a go-ahead, and they said that these can be considered as in-between classes for people to be prepared, students to be prepared, and they are not to be charged, and it should not be considered as a start of an academic year of 2021.
Okay, what's it like in Tamil Nadu, Shabir?
Well, as of now, the priority of the state government is to contain the spread of coronavirus. The state is under complete lockdown, particularly 5 major cities including Chennai, Madurai, Coimbatore, Salem and Tirupur. There is complete lockdown that has started today, and it will be continue for the next 4 days. As far as the schools and colleges situation is concerned, the state government will take a call only after May 3rd. There are several university exams that are pending. There are 10th standard board exams that are pending. So a lot of key questions have been raised over the past few days, and the state school education minister as well as the higher education minister have said that they will discuss about this once the lockdown is over, once there are some clear instructions from the state and the central government as to how to proceed further. As far as online classes are concerned, there are online classes that are taking place, but the major concern, like Imran pointed out, is that that what will the government schools do, and what will the school students in rural areas do, because they cannot afford online classes as there will be connectivity issues, Wi-Fi, and various other problems that they may have to face during this lockdown situation. So clearly a discussion will be held only after May 3rd is what we are hearing. As far as the state government is concerned, right now they have asked schools not to collect fees for the the next academic session. In fact, there have been several complaints that we have also been receiving
Coming in,
from
Shabir,
various quarters.
thanks for your input. Stay with us. Some reactions coming in. Varsha Gaikwad, the Maharashtra Education Minister, has spoken out. Let's play it out.
की राज्याची आज असलेली करोनाची परिस्थिती पाहता आणि पालकांची असलेली पैशाची उपलब्धता पाहता माझं सर्व संस्थांना आणि शाळांना या ठिकाणी शालेय शिक्षण विभागाच्या माध्यमातून एक परिपत्रक पाठवलं गेलेलं आहे आणि या परिपत्रकाच्या माध्यमातून आपल्याला सांगण्यात आलेलं आहे की या काळामध्ये लॉकडाऊनच्या काळामध्ये आपण विद्यार्थ्यांकडून फीची मागणी करू नये आणि अशा संदर्भामध्ये कुठलीही जर मागणी होत असेल तर माझं पालकांना विद्यार्थ्यांना आव्हान आहे की त्यांनी त्या ठिकाणी असलेल्या जिल्हा शिक्षण अधिकाऱ्याकडे या संदर्भातली जी आहे ती तक्रार नोंदवावी.
Tamal also joins the broadcast. Tamal, before I come to you, Sherin, you've been speaking to people in the Delhi government. What are their plans?
Well, there are concerns that has been raised at both school, college, university level. If we talk about the university level, there are in fact students who in fact left during the mid-break semester during the Holi festival, and at that point they didn't take their study materials with them. Some of them left their laptop in the hostel itself, thinking that they will be coming back. But from March 11th, we are seeing that the schools and the colleges have suspended the classes, and hence a lot of students are suffering because of the study material that they have left in the national capital in Delhi, and they are in their hometown. Other than that, the connectivity issue is one of the major issue that has been raised by both teachers, professors and students. They have been saying that in some houses there are students have 3-4 siblings, and all of them have to access the online education, and there are lack of laptops, and that is why it is simultaneously, if all these 3 students in one house have to go through the online, have to access the online education, then it becomes difficult. There are also a major concern that has been raised is about the competitive exam, the entrance exams like CLAT, NEET and IIT-JEE. These dates there is a lot of confusion among students. When are these dates going to be announced? Because as of now they have been delayed, and that is why we are seeing that the UGC has also
Is it any different in Bengal, Tamal?
Well, in Bengal, the government education system is as strong as the private education system. The government education apparatus is equally competitive and extremely renowned. Yes, the state government had taken certain decisions much ahead of time as soon as the outbreak happened, and almost a week and a half back, Mamata Banerjee announced that all students till class 9 have been promoted without any exam. Why? Because they cannot attend their school classes. There are a lot of pending subjects. So till class 9, all have been promoted. 11 standard 2 has been promoted, will be promoted to class 12. The class 12 board exams which were on and got stalled because of the outbreak, the remaining exams will happen after things normalize. That apart, the universities and colleges will also see a lot of exemptions, and only the final semester exams would happen. Now the private schools in Kolkata and also in the other parts of the state, they have started the online classes, and the Bengal government too has started the online education system through news channels. So there are a couple of regional channels who have been assigned the task of doing online classes in the afternoon, and they are doing it religiously. So as far as classes are concerned, the digital shift has more or less happened. But yes, after the lockdown gets over and after tomorrow's crucial meeting,
keep an eye on the updates and inputs. Tamal, thanks for your updates for the moment. Let me open this up very quickly. Pradeep Kumar is joining us. Avnita Bir also on the show. Anika Mehrotra is principal of Kalka Public School, and Gitanjali Kumar is a helpline counselor with CBSE. Good afternoon to all of you. Let's begin taking questions from our viewers. Gary Kocher is on the line from Mohali. Yes, sir. All right. Dr. Bharti is calling us from Bengaluru.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you're on Times Now. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes. Hello.
Ma'am, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a professor working in the.
All right, I think there's an audio issue there, but Anika Mehrotra, let me begin with you. What are the concerns that you are hearing from parents, from students?
Basically, initially the eagerness was very much there, and since the students are missing the classroom, the school, their peer group, so they were all excited, geared up to online teaching. But as your reporters have rightly mentioned, that there are 2-3 siblings in a house and each one has a timetable to follow. The schools are bombarding them with timetable and when to start online, what class will happen when. So the technical issue is really a great concern for all of us. But sir, I would like to say in Delhi, there are other alternatives, Maybe if the child is not there on a online class, then we have the WhatsApp ability where we send him or her the data or the website. The other ways and means where FaceTime the child can do to a teacher, but with a limited frame, a timetable that is given to the child. So we make sure that every child is on board, and as much best as we can do. Yes, we cannot compensate actual classroom teaching with online, but this is the best way forward because every day counts. The syllabus is vast, and if you're losing these 3-4 months, the beginning of the session is going to be a tough time for the students ahead. So we collaborate the timetable as well as the happiness curriculum so that we keep them at ease and happy.
So you believe going online is the best solution at the moment. Let me bring in our viewers also. Mr. Bala Burugan is calling us from Chennai. Sir, good afternoon. Go ahead.
Sir, I think online syllabus is best rather than keeping school because the social distancing will not be possible in classrooms, sir.
Okay. Fair enough, sir. That's a good suggestion. In fact, Miss Bhaskar Sharma is on the line from Ghaziabad. Sir, go ahead.
Sir, I have a small question to ask. I have two kids studying in a same school. One is in a prep class, another one is on class 4. I can understand, the learning which they are, the teacher, what the effort they are putting is absolutely, commendable at this point of time. But my prep class kid who does not know how to operate the computer, in which parents are the one who is getting involved into their academics and all. So my point is very clear that for a kid of a prep class, it's just a fun, not a learning. And again, we are paying the same quarter fees which the school is demanding. It's quite on a higher side. Do you really think that it is justified at this point of time?
Miss Avneeta Bir, would you like to take that, ma'am?
First of all, on the technology front, I think, for the longest time, we've been trying to think technology is the biggest enemy for, schools and education. And I think now what has happened is that we've had to take recourse to technology. And I would say that technology actually has given us the access to be connected with our children, even in times of lockdown. So I would look at it from that point of view, that how do I leverage technology to be connected with my children even during this period. Okay. That said, I think it is very important for schools to be prepared. So that preparedness was very, very critical. How quickly they could transition into the new mode and how smoothly and seamlessly they could do it. I think that was something that was the responsibility of schools because we had enough time to mentally kind of prepare ourselves that this eventuality could come up. About the devices, and I understand that there are problems about the equity of internet and access to digital devices. I would say that if a mix of synchronous and asynchronous teaching and learning can happen, that means some sessions would be live, and I wouldn't recommend that all sessions have to be live video conferencing. A lot of other tools and technology applications are available where the schools can connect with the children, and it could be at their own pace and time when they have access to internet or the device. So one has to just explore, because there are enough and
Yes.
more solutions available. Right?
But I'm sure you will agree
so
that there
that
are
is why-
challenges on even on the technology front, and we'll discuss this that also on the show. Mr. Madan is on the line from Goa. Sir, good afternoon. You're on Times Now.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I think we will never get out of this rat race, you know. And I think we should stop this online classes. You know, with online classes are only for the rich and above middle class. What about those poor children staying in the huts? You know, you're just not bothered about them. So I think what we should teach our children is doing some gardening, doing some cooking, measuring areas of your house. I think being more practical.
Okay.
I think if we need to, you know, this online classes just for 1 month, it's an emergency in the country, in the world, and let us forget about classes. Why are we in this rat race?
Okay.
You know, let us just...
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your views, Mr. Madan. Rashmi is on the line from Bengaluru. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, hello. So I wanted to share with respect to the kids who are in their 12th standards and who want to get in or waiting for their entrance exams. So that is, I know this is a type of a situation where you know, the government is also not able to tell when it will happen, and you know, so, and the kids are also left hanging. Some places like in Karnataka, even their last exam was cancelled because of the lockdown. Not cancelled, postponed because of the exam. So for them, what do you suggest as, at least from the government perspective or you know, from the education department perspective, there should be some kind of dates, or you know, tell by when it can be done, and also provide them with some other means to keep them still studying, right? Otherwise they will stop their, whatever their phase of studying comes through. We are all aware, right?
That's a good question, sir. Ma'am, and many people have asked this question on Twitter also, that class 10 and 12 boards are yet to be completed. What happens to these students? Pradeep Kumar?
It's a question that there is a lot of anxiety, especially related to students of 10th and 12th standard. What is likely to happen is that the academic year is likely to see a shift by a few months for this particular academic year of 2021, and we might take about a year or even two to rectify this schedule of the academic calendar. While this is true and the government is doing whatever is possible under the circumstance, I would like to shift the focus a little differently, and like to emphasize that this is a situation where every one of us, whether it is student or parents or citizens or whoever in whichever sector, we need to adapt ourselves to the current situation. And that's the most important thing, because when students adopt themselves to the current situation, they will reduce anxiety, they will reduce complaint, they will reduce worries, and the atmosphere at home will be much more congenial. So adopting to the current situation is very important, because in fact, very ironically, I must say, that the Chinese word for crisis signifies two things. One is danger and the other one is opportunity. So this is an opportunity for us to adopt ourselves to the situation. And one key advice to students: have faith in yourself. There is no need to change your academic
adapt to the situation, and perhaps a shift in the academic calendar is the suggestion from Pradeep Kumar. A quick break at this time. We return to this in just a bit. Please stay with us.
कोविड वायरस के पॉजिटिव केसेस हैं, जिसमें से 50% रिकवरी रेट है आपकी, और अब तक कोई फेटेलिटी नहीं हुई है उत्तराखंड में। ये एक अचीवमेंट है उत्तराखंड के लिए, और ये आपने कैसे मैनेज किया?
कोविड की जानकारी जो पहले बार मिली वो 25 जनवरी को हमारे सामने आया कि नेपाल में कोई पेशेंट इसका पाया गया है, तो हमने 26 सवेरे ही इस पर एक्ट शुरू कर दिया था। समय पर जो निर्णय हमको लेने चाहिए थे वो निर्णय हमने समय पर लिए। विद्यालयों के बंद करने का होगा, हमने 15 मार्च को निर्णय ले लिया। 18 मार्च को हमने वर्क फ्रॉम होम राज्य में लागू कर दिया, और जब माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जनता कर्फ्यू की बात की, उसी दिन से आज तक हमारे राज्य में लॉकडाउन है।
तो आप समझते हैं कि नेशनल लेवल पे कुछ 10-12 दिन की देरी हुई?
देश के लिए इतना बड़ा निर्णय लेना ये मामूली चीज नहीं है। आज देश में अगर 20,000 के करीब पेशेंट हैं, तो इसलिए हैं कि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो लॉकडाउन का निर्णय समय पर लिया। आज दुनिया भी उस चीज को मान रही है और दुनिया उससे सीख रही है।
Co-presented by Orient iSeries fans.
Learning partner SquareTales.in. Help your child become a better reader.
A balanced opinion is a rare thing because a balanced opinion is often held hostage to agendas. To cut through the clamour, I go to where the story is. A detailed, balanced, truth. Watch News Hour Agenda with me, Padmaja Joshi, weeknights at 10.
Viewers, I have a point of view, and I'm not afraid to look you in the eye when I express it. This is because I know that it's based on an honest, hard fact. A hard fact is uncompromised, just like me. On India Upfront, get the power of the hard facts. Remember, every good argument is based on hard facts. It's just as simple as that.
Democracy is often engulfed by conflicting opinions because it's all about the facts on the table and the perspective one takes. But when I ask the legitimate question, I create a space for all sides of an argument to be heard, so that you, the viewer, can be the ultimate judge of the truth. Watch the News Hour with me, Navika Kumar, every weeknight at 9 p.m. A democracy is often engulfed by conflicting opinions because it's all about the facts on the table and the perspective.
Welcome back. This is a Times Now special broadcast. We are discussing the impact of Corona lockdown on students and their careers. Two viewers on the line. Rajiv Ranjan from Bhatinda. Go ahead, sir.
Sir, good afternoon. My question is like I have a son who is 7-year-old and he is suffering from autism since last 6 years. So earlier also we were fighting for his education, and to be frank, we reduced his class. Earlier he was in class 3. Now this year also we wanted to study him again in class 3 just to cope up with the students. Now my challenge is, now the school is closed and we are not supposed to meet each other. So what we should do for kids who have some special needs?
Okay, kids with special needs. I'll get that answered from Gitanjali Kumar, but also let me bring in Gary Kocher from Mohali. Yes, sir.
Sir, my question is a bit different. What happens is our servant, maid servant, who is a resident with us, she goes to pick our children up from the tuition classes. So when she comes back, should she wear and then cooks food, all the 3 times? Should she wear mask while cooking food or no? And second, she exchanges the money, then brings the currency notes, So should she wash her hands all the time when she changes the currency,
I think she should wear the mask, sir, and wash hands as many times as she possibly can. Ms. Gitanjali Kumar, if you could answer that question about students with special needs.
Definitely, in these challenging times, with special needs will have a tough time, and so will their parents also, because as it is, coping up with their needs is difficult when the times were normal, and in these times when the times are not normal and somehow we were caught unprepared. We've never seen such unforeseen circumstances, so we didn't know how to go about. We didn't have a reference book to catch on to. So now we're trying to devise our own ways and means to reach out, to help, to cooperate, to include everybody, and especially for this child and the parents, I can empathize. One, I will request the parents to upgrade themselves through the various technological modes to learn how to homeschool the child for a while. Maybe if the school could liaison out with some special education interventions, I'm sure where the child was studying would have had a special educator. If the special educator of that school could, the school can have some online remedial classes for the parents, for the children, because autistic children have a very peculiar set of behavior.
Right.
Their sense of normalcy is very, very different. They take a lot of time to get accustomed to change, and change is what is overbearing at the moment. So parents will definitely have a huge catalyst role to play at this time. We'll have to do huge amount of patient listening with the school and somehow advocate for the need of the child.
Okay, but let's also spare a thought for the less fortunate people who don't have the means for online classes. We'll discuss that also. A quick break. I'm pressed for time to take one. We'll come back and discuss more.
What needs to be done to kickstart the economy?
The sectors that are impacted deeply, given a special bailout, it could mean deferment of the EMIs for 1 year, some kind of rebates to be given to them.
So I would see a calibrated approach is the best one, but there is a minimum size that needs to go in upfront to ensure that you don't suffer 6 months, 9 months down the road. We don't want businesses to unnecessarily go bankrupt.
The most crucial thing is to manage the disease itself well enough that it doesn't strangle the economy and that no more lockdowns are, because the lockdowns are extremely damaging to the economy.
Any tax relief you give is not going to help them because they are already lost. What you need is for the SME sector, you need to give them loan.
Bangladesh is providing salaries for private sector employees for 3 months, April, May and June. Something like this provides money to the consumers and at the same time does not burden industry.
There are certain very vulnerable sectors that require immediate cash inflow that will ensure that they don't fade away forever, really afflicted by a virus that is consuming our economy.
balanced opinion is a rare thing because a balanced opinion is often held hostage to agendas. To cut through the clamour, I go to where the story is. A detailed, balanced, truth. Watch News Hour Agenda with me, Padmaja Joshi, weeknights at 10.
Viewers, I have a point of view, and I'm not afraid to look you in the eye when I express it. This is because I know that it's based on an honest, hard fact. A hard fact is uncompromised, just like me. On India Upfront, get the power of the hard facts. Remember, every good argument is based on hard facts. It's just as simple as that.
Democracy is often engulfed by conflicting opinions because it's all about the facts on the table and the perspective one takes. But when I ask the legitimate question, I create a space for all sides of an argument to be heard, so that you, the viewer, can be the ultimate judge of the truth. Watch the News Hour with me, Navika Kumar, every weeknight at 9 p.m. A democracy is often engulfed by conflicting opinions because it's all about the facts on the table and the perspective one takes. But when I ask the legitimate question, I
Welcome back. You're with Times Now. We've opened our calling lines. We want parents, students and teachers to connect with us if they have any query related to the corona lockdown and how the situation is impacting students and their careers. Dr. C. Satish, Director and Senior Principal, Powai Group of Schools, Namakkal, also joins the broadcast. Good afternoon, sir. Let me ask you this straight question, sir. What is the biggest challenge right now for the schools?
Well as the biggest challenge is as to how to cover the portions for right from class 1 to 12, because since we are not very sure when these academic year can commence, so that's causing a bit of concern for all academicians. We have received some guidelines from NCERT stating that the portions can be reduced. But still, I would say that since the date of reopening is not very sure, we are not able to take any solid decision on that. However, we have started the online classes, but the online classes will not be that very effective, I would say, unless there's a personal touch with the teachers like happening in the class. So this is the biggest challenge for us, faced by all the private schools. The second part, which actually is bothering us, is about how to go about the competitive examinations which students are going to face for the NEET and IIT, where there's not much of clarity, and we are hoping for a good announcement from the NTA as to when these examinations will be conducted. This also is bothering the students, parents, as well as the teachers.
Okay. Ms. Avneeta Bir, if I could ask you about one demand that is coming from parents from across the states, that is about the school fee waiver. How do you look at it, ma'am?
Yes. Sir, it is all private school, which is not funded by the government. So it is really an issue.
I think that question is for Avneeta Bir. I'll come back to you.
Yeah. So I just feel that, this is a decision. We cannot take a knee-jerk reaction to something that has happened, that it has affected all of us. It's an economic plight that all of us will have to face. I think, no piecemeal measure would be a solution. We have to look at education as in a long-term perspective, and schools, when they take on the commitment of educating kids, is not just for, over a short period of time. It's on a long period of time. We're committed to provide education to the children. So I think one has to look at it as from a larger perspective of what are we doing to safeguard not just the academic side of the child's growth, but also the social emotional health that we're looking at for the child. So I just feel that we're at this point of time, it's not about taking sides, it's about all of us coming together and finding a solution together. So it's a time for collaboration and not to find or blame each other. I think that's what is happening right now. It's like I think it's a frustration of uncertainty which is weighing down heavily on each one of us, and so it is manifesting in putting the blame on someone else or saying the stakeholder has to take cognizance. So I feel it has to be a
okay. Miss Onika Mehrotra, do you want to add to that?
Sir, I rightly agree with that. If the schools are closed, that doesn't mean anywhere the expenses have been shut down. Ultimately, the salary of every staff has to be paid, be it the drivers, the maids, the fourth-class employees, the teachers, and then higher ups accordingly. So yes, we understand that it's a vicious circle. The parents are not getting their salary, and hence the schools are not getting the fees. Yes, we are slowed down on it. There's no pressure on the parents. They can pay accordingly. There'll be no fines on them. As the school reopens, they can sit down across the table and speak to the concerned department and pay accordingly. But yes, they have to also understand that
consultation and cooperation is the way forward. Then Vikram is on the line from Pune. Sir, you're on Times Now. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, sir. I am from Pune and I have been father of 2 kids, Pearl and Rose, in Pune DPS. And I only see that, the kids are not able to cope up with the studies online because no printers, no books, nothing. And how are schools planning to go ahead with the classes? They have even postponed the summer vacations.
Okay. We'll talk about it. Thank you for connecting, sir. Rajiv Oberoi is calling us from Delhi. Mr. Oberoi, you're on Times Now. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, sir. My name is Rajiv Oberoi. I have a child with special needs who's giving his senior secondary through NIOS. He's currently in class 11, and we have the option of giving a few exams of few subjects in class 11 and the rest in class 12. Now, he was supposed to appear for 3 subjects for class 11 in the month of April. Now, because of the lockdown, we really don't know what the situation is. Is there anybody who can throw some light on it? Because I can see CBSE, IIT, NEET, etc., but no one's talking about NIOS.
Okay. Ms. Gitanjali Kumar, if you could take that one.
Yes, certainly. I would first request the parent be not be so tense and let the child also relax, because NIOS is no different a board than the other boards, and NIOS has a very, very student-friendly approach. I myself have had very pleasant associations with them. So I understand that there is a huge amount of flexibility in their system as and when the situations improve, and as and when, keeping the social distancing factor in mind, when there is when the government feels that we can go ahead with the examinations, certainly the NIOS will also make the relevant announcements as the other boards would be. CBSE is also due to take some of their exam, and we've been talking about the other competitive exam. See, parents, I would really want all of us to actually understand that this is a moment of huge uncertainty. So nothing can be planned and nothing can be for sure. We'll have to accept that uncertainty is the only thing at the moment. Whether after 3rd May we will be out of our houses, or we will have the freedom to come out of the house, or it will be extended, there is nothing for sure. So how can dates be announced? And if the academic calendar gets postponed and we start our calendar ahead, if the entire session gets shifted, then it'll be for all of us. So somewhere the uncertainty has to be accepted. We need to catch hold of our tensions and anxiety, and we'll all have to understand that Times Now is also doing this program. So how important is education for everybody? Yes, education is very, very important, but the ways and means by which this education would be imparted, there'll be huge shift in that. So parents and children and teachers will have to very, very patiently bear this time with huge amount of perseverance.
Right, we've taken this as a campaign on Times Now. We'll continue to talk and talk about some of these concerns that parents have shared with us. I thank all of you for joining us. Shifting focus across to some breaking inputs that we are getting. And this is a Times Now super exclusive news break. The Vadhavans were given a VVIP pass. Times Now broke that story first. Now we've accessed the government report. In fact, the report of the inquiry committee submitted to the government. This is the explanation of Amitabh Gupta, the bureaucrat who had signed that VVIP pass for Vadhavans. In his explanation that Times Now has accessed, he says he was getting many requests for movement from people in distress, migrant workers, etc. And wherever possible, he was helping people, and that Vadhavan also called that they were living in a rented accommodation and wanted to shift to their own house in Mahabaleshwar during lockdown. Kajal Iyer, Mumbai Bureau Chief, who's breaking this story, joins us. Yes, Kajal.
Yes, this report has statements from Amitabh Gupta and also people from his department who were involved in this letter that was being issued. Now, Amitabh Gupta has said that he had given this letter in good faith because the Vadhavans had approached him, like many others were approaching him for various permissions, saying that they wanted to move to their own accommodation because in Khandala they were living on a rented accommodation. And in good faith, he had sent this as the explanation that he had given to the government. Now, the recommendations, there are two recommendations that the committee, after listening to Amitabh Gupta and also collecting various statements, has come up with. The first recommendation is that if the government wants to take this on face value, given the fact that other people also bear out the fact that Amitabh Gupta was getting several requests from people. The other explanation, of course, the other recommendation, of course, is the fact that this committee is not empowered enough to conduct a serious inquiry, an investigative inquiry into whether or not Amitabh Gupta actually gave this on humanitarian, this permission on humanitarian grounds, or whether he gave it because he knew the Vadhavans previously or had some sort of connection with them. That, the committee says, is something that can only be investigated by an investigating agency, and it is up to the government to recommend if it wants such an inquiry against the IPS officer. So these are the two main recommendations that have been given to the government by the committee.
What was humanitarian about the VVIP pass? Vivek Narayan Kurup, our executive editor, also joins the broadcast. Vivek?
Well, it seems the government seems to have gone the extra mile in ensuring that the VVIP industrialist billionaire gets to stay in his country home and not in quarantine like many of us would have perhaps in government hospitals and other places. And the Babu who actually helped him do that has come out and curiously admitted that he allowed them in good faith, quote unquote, because he would have done the same to any laborer. Remember, there are crores, lakhs of laborers, daily wage earners in Maharashtra from Mumbai who've been walking along the rail tracks. He said he claims that he would have done that to anybody, put them up all in such bungalows if they had them. Well, it is truly strange, and from the indication it seems that the Maharashtra government seems to have bought that excuse of this senior Babu. Obviously,
Kajal, what happens next?
Yes.
What are you hearing from the state government?
The Home Minister has just tweeted that the report will be submitted to him officially because he is right now not in Mumbai. So it will be officially submitted to him perhaps by tomorrow or day after, and then he will be taking into consideration what sort of action needs to be taken. All eyes will be on whether the Home Minister actually decides to hand over the investigation to an investigating agency, because that is one of the main recommendations of this particular report, which says that if at all the government needs to find out whether Amitabh Gupta did this in good faith or he had actually had some ties with the Vadhavans from before, that can only be investigated by an investigating agency.